Closing thoughts, 4 of them. Recovery-oriented systems of care, which we're going to focus on completely tomorrow, and recovery management, which is, again, ROSC is the big organizing framework. RM is a philosophy of treatment inside a treatment program. Represent not a refinement of modern addiction treatment, but a fundamental redesign of that treatment. I'm hoping the 10 areas of practice we went through this afternoon that you would agree. This is not treatment as usual. This is not, we just need to tweak a little bit better what we're currently doing. This is a pretty radical redesign of treatment. Number 2, overselling what an acute care episode of treatment can do risk a cultural backlash against addiction treatment that could threaten the very existence of this field. I absolutely believe that. I got to tell you, 3 years ago, I was asked to write an article about what, as a historian of addiction treatment and recovery, what is the perfect storm that could lead to a collapse of addiction treatment in the United States? I want to talk about a couple of ingredients I wrote in that scenario. I said we are very, very vulnerable at this unique period in history. I said, here's what we could have. We could have a virtual avalanche of celebrities moving in and out of rehab to escape the responsibility for their latest indiscretions in ways that totally discredit the reputation and integrity of addiction treatment. Followed by a financial crisis of unprecedented proportions that would force state and local policymakers to make decisions of whether we do roads or schools or addiction treatment. And under those circumstances, I said, we are vulnerable. We could collapse as a system of care in the same way that addiction treatment collapsed in the first 2 decades of the 20th century. And what do we got? We are very vulnerable right now. We need to tell the truth about addiction treatment and recovery. We need to tell exactly what the recovery rates are and what the relapse rates are to everyone coming into treatment and every family member and to every referral source. But we also need to, at the same time, not only give them that brutal detail, we need to tell them, and here's the good news. Long-term recovery is alive and well in this culture, in the lives of hundreds and thousands of individuals and families. But here's what the recovery process looks like. It's more complex and more time-intensive than what we anticipated it was. We misread that, and as it says in the 10-step, what do we need to do? And when? What do we do? I'm saying we need to do that inventory, and we need to make our apologies to this culture. That with the very best of intentions, we got some things wrong. And now we have the data to try to restate out what this thing called addiction and recovery are about and really tell the truth about it. And that's, I think, going to be part of our shift. I think if we do that well, we got a chance to get through this. If we maintain our arrogance, running around talking about treatment works, in a world where people are increasingly seeing people for whom treatment didn't work, I think we're very, very vulnerable at this point in time. Number 3, and then we'll go. It will take years to transform addiction treatment from an AC model of intervention to a recovery management model of sustained recovery support. My colleagues tomorrow are going to talk about what it's like in different states and cities to do this. And what I can tell you is every time I think I've got it figured out, I learn again I have underestimated the time, the effort, the enormous complexity, the politics, the egos, the turf, the territory, the budgetary issues, complex policy issues, all kinds of nuanced issues around theories of treatment and recovery. This is tough work. And Ijama Chara is going to describe to you, I think, in remarkable detail tomorrow, what we're beginning to learn about how you plan this at a broad systems level and how you begin to implement this. The great news is we're involved in cities and states that are doing just some stunning things. And on a day-to-day basis, we're overwhelmed. We're calling each other saying we need medication today. We're calling each other overwhelmed and thinking it's insane and chaotic and this is never going to work. And 2 days later, something unfolds in front of us that blows our minds in terms of what's going on inside these communities and how incredibly exciting it is. So we're gonna shift. Today was, why do we need to make this change? I hope you walk out of here believing that. We need to do that, and we need to do it quickly. Secondly, how will treatment change when we make this transition? I hope you got a little bit of clue about that. And if not, then read 400 or 500 pages of what I've written, and that'll help clear up any misunderstanding about it. Tomorrow, we're going to shift from what do we need to do to, okay, how do we do this? How do we fund it? What are the policy implications? On and on and on. Let's shut her down for today, shall we? Take care. God bless. What do we really know about recovery? How many libraries could we fill if we just put the scientific knowledge base of recovery? What do you think the odds are of their recovery in this environment? So, some people said,